Marcus earns $58,000 a year. David earns $190,000 a year. Same city, same year, both in their late 20s, both starting from roughly the same place. Modest savings, entry-level debt, the whole future still ahead of them. Fast forward 35 years. Marcus retired at 62. He has $1.1 million in investments, a paid-off home, and a level of financial calm he has carried for the better part of 2 decades. He travels twice a year. He helps his grandchildren with tuition. He has not checked his account balance with anxiety since his early 30s. David is 68 and still working, not because he wants to, because the math does not yet allow him to stop. He has $340,000 saved, a mortgage with 9 years remaining, and a financial anxiety that has quietly followed him through every raise, every promotion, every year he told himself things were finally about to settle down. Same country, same economy, same decades of adult working life. The income did not decide the outcome. The system did. Most people carry a belief so deeply embedded they have never examined it. More income equals more wealth. It is not true. The data has been saying so for decades, and most people still do not believe it because the belief feels too logical to question. Here is the honest picture. Income is the faucet. Wealth is what you keep in the tank. A faucet running at full pressure means nothing if the tank has cracks running through it. And high income, reliably, almost automatically, creates expensive cracks. When you earn $190,000, lenders approve you for a mortgage sized to $190,000. Car dealerships show you vehicles appropriate for $190,000. Private schools become a realistic conversation. The neighborhood upgrades. The wardrobe upgrades. The restaurants upgrade. Every individual decision feels proportionate to the income. Together, they consume it completely. David did not make reckless choices. He made income-appropriate choices. Every single one was defensible. The house was within his approval. The car was reasonable for his salary. The school was the right environment for his children. The vacations were modest by the standards of his peer group. The problem was never any individual decision. The problem was the pattern underneath all of them. A pattern of always choosing the version the income permitted rather than the version the wealth required. Marcus did not have permission for the expensive version. His income quietly protected him from a category of decisions that would have consumed everything he built. The constraint he spent years wishing away turned out to be the architecture of his freedom. Research on retirement outcomes is consistent and striking on this point. Savings rate predicts retirement wealth more reliably than income level. Not sometimes, consistently. Across income brackets, across decades, across every major study that has examined the question, a person saving 20% of a modest income will, over a long enough timeline, outbuild a person saving 4% of a large one. The math is not even close. The faucet does not decide who is wealthy. What you do with the water does. There are 4 mechanics. They are not complicated. None of them requires a financial degree or an exceptional income. What they require is that you build them once and then refuse to dismantle them when life makes it tempting. The first mechanic is the permanent gap. Every time income increases, a raise, a bonus, a new job, the lifestyle stays exactly where it was. The entire increase transfers to investments before the brain registers it as available spending money. Marcus received 2 meaningful raises over 11 years. Both times, the week the raise hit his paycheck, he increased his automatic investment transfer by the same amount. His lifestyle never felt the raise arrive. His investment account received it in full. This is the wealth engine, the gap between what comes in and what gets spent. Widening it is the only financial move that compounds over time. Everything else is administration. The second mechanic is the one asset rule. The quietly wealthy own one of everything. One home, appropriately sized, One car per driver, reliable, not prestigious. One version of everything required, nothing duplicated for status, nothing upgraded before genuine failure. Every possession carries a second cost beyond its purchase price. Storage, maintenance, insurance, the mental energy of managing it, cleaning it, worrying about it. The quietly wealthy calculate the full ecosystem cost before any major acquisition and stop when they have genuinely enough. Marcus drives a used Toyota Camry he purchased for cash 8 years ago. He does not think about his car. David leases a new BMW every 3 years at $890 per month. David thinks about his car every time the payment clears. The difference between those two relationships with transportation is not just $890 monthly. Over 30 years, it is the difference between financial peace and financial performance. The third mechanic is the automatic architecture. Willpower is not a wealth-building strategy. It depletes at exactly the wrong moments. When you are tired, when you are stressed, when a purchase feels justified because the week was hard. The quietly wealthy do not rely on willpower. They build systems that run without requiring a decision. Investments transfer automatically the morning payroll deposits. The emergency fund replenishes automatically when it dips below its floor. Savings rate increases automatically every January by 1 percentage point, regardless of whether the year felt financially comfortable or tight. None of these movements require Marcus to feel disciplined. The architecture is the discipline. It runs whether or not he is paying attention. David saves whatever remains at the end of the month. Most months, nothing remains. He has intended to fix this for 11 years. The intention has never become an architecture, which means it has never actually happened. The fourth mechanic is the enough definition. The trap that captures every high earner who survives the first 3 mechanics is the moving goalpost. Income rises. The definition of enough rises with it. The milestone gets reached and immediately replaced by a larger one. The race never ends because the finish line keeps relocating. The quietly wealthy define enough before the money arrives. Not a dream number, a genuine enough number. The annual spending level at which life is comfortable and satisfying without reference to what colleagues earn or what the neighborhood expects. Marcus decided at 29 that $52,000 in annual spending was enough for his family. When his income rose beyond that, the spending barely moved. The gap went directly to investments. He never felt deprived because he had already decided, deliberately, that he had enough. David has never made that decision. He cannot quite make it because every time he gets close to a financial target, the comparison feed shifts and the target moves. At $190,000, he feels as financially stretched as he did at $90,000. The goalpost relocated every time he approached it. Most people never sit down and run this specific calculation. Here it is. Marcus, $58,000 income, 20% savings rate, $11,600 invested annually. At 8% average returns over 35 years, just under $2 million. David, $190,000 income, 4% savings rate, $7,600 invested annually. Same returns, same timeline, $1.29 million. Marcus invested less money every single year. Marcus retired with more money. And Marcus retired 6 years earlier because his lower fixed costs meant he needed a smaller portfolio to walk away from work entirely. The math did not care which faucet ran faster. It only measured what ended up in the tank. 2 people, 35 years, the same economy. The only real variable was the percentage. And the percentage was a choice, not a salary. High income creates something, low income does not. Permission. Permission to buy the upgraded version. Permission to reward years of hard work with a lifestyle that reflects the salary. Permission to delay the serious financial decisions until next year when things settle down. Each permission feels earned. The income is real. The sacrifice was real. The reward feels proportionate and deserved. And each permission quietly cracks the tank a little further. The cruelest part is that the high earner is almost never making obviously bad decisions. David is not gambling. He is not reckless. He is not doing anything a reasonable person would call irresponsible. He is simply granting himself permission, one reasonable decision at a time, until the cumulative pattern has consumed everything the income produced. The system never got built because the income always made it feel slightly less urgent than it actually was. Move 1. Calculate your actual savings rate right now. Divide what you invested last month by your take-home pay. That percentage is your wealth engine speed. If it is below 15%, the engine is running too slowly to reach the destination before the destination recedes. Move 2. Set one automatic transfer today. Not a goal. Not a plan to set one up. An actual scheduled transfer that moves money from checking to an investment account the morning after your next paycheck lands. The amount is secondary. The automaticity is everything. Start with whatever does not break the budget. Increase it by 1 percentage point every January without exception. Move 3. Write down your number. Not what you aspire to spend. What is genuinely enough? The annual spending level where your life is fully functional, genuinely comfortable, and not running on comparison. Write it down. Put it somewhere visible. Every dollar you earn above that number is now fuel for the wealth engine, not permission for the next upgrade. These 3 moves will not feel dramatic. They never do. The quiet wealth system is quiet for a reason. It does not announce itself. It does not generate weekend photos or parking lot envy. It just builds, slowly and without fanfare, until the day you check the account and realize you are free. Marcus did not retire at 62 because fortune found him. He retired at 62 because at 29 he made 3 quiet decisions and automated them so completely that 33 years later they were still running without requiring his attention. The raises came. The lifestyle barely moved. The gap widened. The tank filled. David did not fall behind because the economy was unfair to him or because his income was insufficient. He fell behind because the income always granted him permission to wait 1 more year before building the system. The system does not care what you earn. It only asks whether you will build it.